Hello and welcome everyone. Today we're going to talk about a subject which is often a problem at the workplace, but seldom is it discussed at the workplace openly. We're going to talk about incivility. First, let's understand what is incivility. Incivility, in a very generic sense, could mean disrespectful behavior or rude behavior. Now, we all know that disrespecting someone or behaving rudely is bad. But needless to say, this is something which is common practice in most organizations, if not all organizations. So let's understand what amounts to incivility. What is the cost of incivility? And is there anything that we can do about it? First things first, let's understand what are some of the behaviors which can be construed as incivility. Now, one of the basic things that you'll often see at workplaces is what is called as verbal aggression. What is verbal aggression? For example, if you shout at someone or if you yell at someone, how dare you do that? Are you an idiot? Are you nuts? Are you crazy? Now, all those kind of words, which might sound very obvious, and in the heat of the moment, you may want to use them, but it leaves a deep impression on the minds of the receiver. And therefore, any form of verbal aggression amounts to incivility. In fact, in several organizations, under the garb of open culture, people actually indulge in profane language, and therefore others feel hurt. Now, verbal aggression is not the only problem here. There are other problems associated with it. For example, one of the other ways that anyone can demonstrate incivility is by belittling or is by showing that you are a lesser entity in the workplace. So, any comments which belittle a person, for example, how could you be so silly? Yeah, that was not expected of you. Or I don't think you're experienced enough or qualified enough to make a suggestion here. Even those kind of comments actually erode a lot of self respect, and people are left hurt and bruised at the end of the day. So, any such form of comments can also cause a lot of inner turmoil for the recipient. Third is to either ignore or to completely exclude someone from the discussion forum. For example, someone wants to make a comment or share a suggestion, but you look the other way. Or for that matter, you don't request someone who has to make a comment or share some insights. You just don't welcome that person in the meeting. So you've completely excluded someone from a forum. Even that can amount to incivility. One of the most prominent forms of incivility, which we don't consider threatening but is practiced worldwide, is gossiping or even spreading rumors. Now, sometimes gossip in a certain way can also be a light banter, but anything deeper than that, gossip can actually cause a lot of problems for people, not just at the workplace, but sometimes even might have a negative impact on their personal lives. So, any kind of gossip or rumor about an individual could also be considered as incivility. Last but not the least, incivility can also be seen in bad body language. So, a roll of the eyes, or sometimes gestures, or sometimes body language, which is highly disrespectful, could also offend sentiments and leave people absolutely hurt. Now, there are various other ways in which people can showcase incivility. But the point is, incivility in any format is bad, and therefore one needs to overcome that. Now, why is it considered to be bad? Because it one leaves the other person hurt, but more so, there are several costs that an organization has to incur when the workplace is full of people who exercise incivility in their behavior. Let's look at what are some of the negative impacts of incivility at the workplace. Number one is the fact that you will see at places where incivility is rampant, the morale of employees is always on the lower side. Now, why is that so? Because if my suggestions are not respected, if my presence is excluded, if my thoughts and ideas are ridiculed and laughed upon, and if someone jokes about me all the time, then it's definitely going to have a negative or an adverse impact on my psyche. And that's why places where you see a lot of incivility in the air, people actually going into their shell. And the reason for that is they feel hurt, they feel left out. Number two, because there is decreased morale at the workplace, the more and more people who are victims of incivility, you will see the workplace also experiencing extremely low productivity. Now, sometimes incivility in behavior comes from the superior or the owner of the company, but that's not true. It may come from any person in the organization. Some people just do it out of sheer habit. Some people have an aggressive behavior and therefore it comes more naturally to them. But the point is, no matter who exercises incivility, it will definitely lead to lower productivity as well as lower morale at the workplace. And therefore, the next bigger challenge caused by incivility is the fact that relationships will always be under immense stress. So, damaged relationships is an outcome of incivility. Now, naturally, if you use profane language at someone, or you belittle someone, or you put down someone, either deliberately or unknowingly, whatever the case might be, people will feel hurt, and therefore it also causes relationships to be broken and under a lot of stress, which leads to number four and number five. Number four, what you see because of incivility is that a lot of impact on the health of employees. Now, health, in fact, could be experienced either through physical health. Sometimes it has put people in the hospital because people have been subjected to a form of behavior which has been absolutely damaging. So people stress out, people keep thinking about it. So it impacts both physical as well as mental health. And when you combine all of these problems, naturally, one of the other things that comes as a natural progression to this is the fact that organizations suffer from higher turnover. Now, this is not turnover in the form of sales, but this is in the form of employee turnover. So attrition becomes a natural thing at the workplace because people have been subjected to unchecked incivility. Now, we spoke about what is incivility and what constitutes incivility, and we also looked at the negative impacts of incivility. But the real question is, can we do something about it? And the answer is a big yes. First and foremost, if there is incivility at the workplace, it is important for us to point out that incivility exists. Let's not put incivility or push it under the carpet and say that, look, everyone here enjoys the atmosphere because we love leg pulling. But if that leg pulling is resulting in people losing their morale or sometimes affecting their health badly, then definitely it's a serious issue that needs to be tackled. Number two, leaders in the organization need to lead by demonstration, which means that they themselves need to make sure that even unknowingly they don't practice incivility. And if they see others practicing it, then they put their foot down and stop it then and there. Because otherwise, it becomes a habit for most people in the organization, and it will have a lot of negative repercussions, which we discussed earlier. But more so, incivility is something that needs to be addressed by anyone and everyone because incivility severely damages the cultural fabric of an organization. It breaks relationships, it puts people down, and in every other way, it is damaging for the organization. So there is nothing positive that comes out of it. So identify if you experience any kind of incivility, speak up for that. Perhaps if you need help, ask for it because it's only people like you and me who can do something about it. First and foremost, we need to identify it. Then we need to have the courage to address it. I hope this topic strikes a chord with you. So if there is anything else that you would like to share, I would be willing to listen to your thoughts and ideas. Thank you so much for listening to me today, and I'll see you again sometime very soon. Bye-bye for now.